I don't know if you're on this kind of time, but I was in a group chat the other day, or actually just yesterday, and Shaq said he's paying top dollar for any information on old boy. So, again, I don't know if you're on that kind of time or not, but Shaq is known to throw large sums of money around, so just want to put that out there. Stay quiet. Hey, he said, please keep it quiet. He said that Shannon did some shit back to him a while back, and he's been off him. So that's why he's doing this, but please keep his name quiet.
Looks like everybody might have jumped the gun on Shannon Sharpe, because the latest tea? Whew, it's wild. Word on the street is Shannon didn't just get caught up in some scandal, he might have been straight up set up. That essay situation that had his name in the gutter? It's looking more and more like a trap from the beginning. People were quick to call him out, cancel him, drag him. But now, with this fresh info spilling out, the whole narrative is flipping fast. And here's where it gets juicy. There's serious talk about a full-blown conspiracy to bring Shannon down. And guess who might be quietly backing him through the storm? Chris Brown. Yup, that Chris. Now, why would Breezy be stepping in? Let's not forget, Chris and Shannon go way back. He pulled up on Shannon's Club Shay Shay, and they weren't just chopping it up for views. They had real chemistry. But their bond runs deeper than just a podcast collab. Behind the scenes, they tight. And say what you will about Chris, but when he rocks with you, he rides for you. That's why fans are convinced he's not about to let Shannon sink alone. He's showing loyalty and receipts. But hold up, it gets even messier. Some folks are whispering that Oprah and Tyler Perry might have had their hands in something shady too. The streets are buzzing, and the finger, it's now pointing at Shaquille O'Neal as the secret villain in this whole twisted setup. The plot just keeps thickening, and we're only getting started.
Joker, as the president of the Big Man Alliance, you are the vice president of the Big Man Alliance. You know I love you, the best player in the league. I want to congratulate you, but I want you to hear from me first. I thought the SGA should have been the MVP. That's no disrespect to you, but congratulations. And what do you guys have to do to get back on track versus Minnesota?
Thank you, Shaq. We don't judge people here, so that's fine. It's your opinion. I'm joking.
No, hey, all good. I love you. I love your brothers. One thing we always going to do is keep it real with each other.
Shaq. Yep, that Shaquille O'Neal is now all up in these conspiracy threads. And baby, it's looking personal. People are asking, why would Shaq come for Shannon like this? But let's be real. This tension didn't start yesterday. The street's been buzzing. This beef been simmering behind the scenes for a minute. And it boiled over hard when that Nikola Jokic MVP drama popped off in 2024. That moment lit the match, and everything exploded from there. Shaq and Shannon stopped keeping it cute real quick. Suddenly, it was sneak disses flying on podcasts, shady tweets, and backhanded jabs all over social media. But Shaq? He didn't stop at petty drama. He went full-on savage and dropped a diss track. Yeah, you heard that right. Shaq grabbed a mic and went straight for Shannon's neck. Nobody saw that coming in 2024. It wasn't just sports beef anymore. It turned ugly. Like Shaq had a score to settle, and he wanted the whole world to hear it. And honestly, with how wild 2024's been, none of this is even surprising anymore. Cat Williams tried to warn us. He said this was the year all the fake masks in the industry were going to slide right off, and he wasn't lying. So how did this whole saga start? The drama got kicked off when Shaq did this weird, low-key, shady post-game interview with Nikola Jokic after he snagged his third MVP title. And from that moment, everything started unraveling. Instead of showing love and keeping it professional, Shaq went way off script. Man looked Jokic dead in the face during that post-game interview and flat out said he thought Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deserved the MVP instead. Like, huh? Jokic kept it cool. He didn't look bothered. But the fans? Oh, they were heated. That clip went viral instantly, and not in a good way. People dragged Shaq for being shady, disrespectful, and honestly just weird for hijacking someone else's moment like that. Basketball Twitter blew up, sports blogs went wild, and the consensus? Shaq was out of line, plain and simple. Folks said he couldn't let anyone else shine without inserting himself. Like, bro, Why you stealing the spotlight just to throw your own hot take? Then boom, Shannon Sharpe came out swinging. On his Nightcap podcast, Shannon didn't hold anything back. He clowned Shaq for being salty and made it very clear he thought the jealousy was real. He said Shaq couldn't stand that Jokic was getting all this love, and it sounded like Shannon had been holding in that smoke for months. It was personal, and from that moment, any chance of peace between them was officially dead. Shaq heard that and wasted zero time clapping back. He jumped on Instagram and came for Shannon's neck. He posted a screenshot showing Shannon ranked number 51 on the NFL's top 100 greatest characters list, but the caption is what sent everybody into a frenzy. Shaq wasn't just throwing shade, he was launching missiles. That post made it clear, this ain't friendly banter, this is full-on war. And both of them, they're just getting started. This wasn't just beef, it was a straight-up verbal knockout. Shaq fired back with a ruthless post that had folks clutching their phones. He wrote, "You took me defending Shea as jealousy? That just shows how smart you are. Saying anything just for clicks? Here's some clickbait. If you ain't top 10 in your own lane, don't come for me. And don't forget, I know exactly what you did to get where you at." Ooh, that last line? A direct warning shot. He was basically saying, play with me if you want to, but I got receipts. This wasn't about MVPs anymore. It was turning deeply personal. And Shaq made it sound like he wasn't the one with jealousy issues. He flipped that script right back at Shannon. "Sounds like you the one who's jealous," he clapped back, like he'd been waiting to drag him. And drag him he did. Shaq wasn't holding back, not even a little bit. He hit Shannon with insult after insult like it was battle rap night. "You trying to stay relevant by gossiping on your little podcast? We don't believe you. You need more people." Then came the resume flex. 4 rings, 3 finals MVPs, named top 50 and top 75 all time. Google me. And he still wasn't done. Shaq kept the shade coming. "All that new fame you got, you still under me." And just when you thought he was wrapping up, he twisted the knife again. "You don't know my grind. I work less than you and still got more. Let that sink in." Then boom, he tried to fake a humble exit with a shady, "Love you too." But it was ice cold. He even tossed in a slick money jab. "If you need help stacking paper, there's better ways than running your mouth." And just like that, the OG flex was locked in. Shaq wasn't playing, not even a little. "I'm too old for this mess." That's what Shaq said, signed off like a legend, calling himself the most dominant big man ever who didn't even need to try. But then he dropped the real bomb. "I don't know you." And just like that, he hit Shannon with that cold Skip Bayless-style uppercut. "I'm better than you. G14 classification. I got it. You don't." He really said, "Not in my league. Not in your GOAT talk. I never wanted to be the GOAT. I was him." Shaq crowned himself the apex predator, the most dominant to ever do it. But the internet? They weren't clapping. They were dragging. His comments lit up like a war zone. Fans were not feeling it. People said Shaq was way too pressed over a simple podcast opinion. Let's be honest, Shannon didn't even say anything wild. All he did was speak on that shady MVP interview, and Shaq went full DEFCON 1. The vibe online was loud and clear. Shaq came off salty, insecure, and honestly a little unhinged. Some folks even said he sounded cringe, always trying to be the biggest voice in the room, but acting brand new when someone claps back. And if you thought the backlash would make Shaq chill out, think again. You clearly don't know how he moves when the gloves come off. Instead of falling back, Shaq doubled down and dropped a whole diss track called "The Big Man." Yup, he really did that. The song went in hard. He clowned Shannon for being soft, called him fake, and made it very clear. This wasn't just jokes or petty banter. Shaq meant war, and this beef, it just hit a whole new level. Shaq didn't just want attention, he wanted the whole world watching. And baby, he made sure all eyes were on him. He turned Instagram into his personal stage, dropping the cover art and a preview of his diss track like it was a blockbuster trailer. But the wildest part? He started tagging folks like he was building the Avengers. He had 50 Cent, Rick Ross, DL Hewley, Ghostface Killah, DJ Academics, Stephen A. Smith, Ocho Cinco. Everybody was in the mix. The celeb tags were out of control, and the caption? All flex, no chill. Whenever y'all want to hear a podcast hosted by someone with G14 classification, tune into the Big Pod with Shaq. Love y'all. I'm done with this. I'll be at my Bahamas crib if anyone needs me. That was his mic drop moment, and people were buzzing heavy. But just when the dust was about to settle, the pot got stirred again. Out of nowhere, an audio clip leaked, and it was Matt Barnes talking real greasy. He claimed Shaq had been throwing out major money, big money, trying to pay people to dig up dirt on Shannon. Straight bounty hunter vibes. If what Barnes said is even halfway true, then that diss track? Yeah, that was just the intro. And from there, the streets exploded. Rumors started flying like crazy. Whispers said Shaq wasn't just trying to win the beef. He wanted to bury Shannon for good. Some unconfirmed reports even claimed Shaq allegedly hired someone to do a full deep dive into Shannon's past. Now, fans are side-eyeing everything, including the timing of Shannon's recent legal mess. People are connecting dots fast and wondering if Shaq had a hand in stirring that drama too. This ain't no rap beef. This is a straight-up celebrity war. As soon as that audio clip started making its rounds, social media exploded. Again. People were in full shock mode. Like, was Shaq really out here playing dirty behind the scenes? That's when things flipped. Suddenly, Shaq switched gears. Like once the fire got too hot, he dropped the tough guy act and went straight into damage control. But at that point, it was already too late. The internet had seen way too much. Right after that shady audio leaked and the side eyes started flying, Shaq tried to act unbothered. He popped back online, flexing vacation pics from his Bahamas mansion. Jet skis, palm trees, ocean views, like he wasn't just accused of putting a bounty on Shannon's whole rep. But fans? They weren't buying it at all. People were zooming in, reading between the lines, and lighting up his comments. Why you trying to silence Shannon? Throwing shade and hiding your hands. The vibe switched, fast. It wasn't giving legend anymore. It was giving desperate. And just when folks thought it couldn't get messier, boom, another plot twist dropped like a bomb. A known sports blogger, somebody who's been leaking NBA tea for years, came through with a shocker. He claimed he'd seen actual texts that allegedly showed Shaq was in contact with someone trying to plant fake stories about Shannon in the media. Yeah, it just got real. Now the heat wasn't just online, it was spilling into the press. Reporters were sniffing around, blogs were popping off, and fans were piecing everything together. Meanwhile, Shannon? He went ghost. Not a post, not a like, not a word for days. Fans noticed real quick, and the silence only made the rumors grow louder. This ain't just a beef anymore. It's looking like a takedown mission. No podcast clips, no tweets, not even a gym selfie. Shannon's silence was loud, and the internet felt it. Some folks said his legal team probably told him to fall back. Others thought he was just loading up, getting ready to clap back with something major. But either way, the vibe had shifted. What started as light jabs over MVP drama had spiraled into what fans were now calling a full-blown power move gone wrong. Suddenly, Shaq wasn't looking like the dominant force anymore. He was looking like the bully. And Shannon? He was starting to look like the one holding the high ground without saying a word. The internet stayed divided, but one thing was crystal clear. This had nothing to do with basketball anymore. This was ego, legacy, and who really runs the room when the cameras turn off. And with every leak, every shady post, and every little move, things kept getting hotter. Shaq wasn't done, not even close. He popped back on social media with a skit, mocking the whole thing. He cracked jokes, pretending to offer top dollar for dirt on Shannon, like the entire situation was just one big comedy show. The caption? "I got caught again. I need that information. I'm paying top dollars. Why y'all so dumb? Y'all believe anything. Shaq-wise, white." Now, depending on who you ask, that post either hit or flopped. Some thought it was clever, a slick way to spin the mess into laughs. But others? They weren't having it. They said it felt like more deflecting, more clowning to avoid accountability. Was Shaq laughing off the mess, or just trying to dodge the truth? Fans were split, but no one could deny this wasn't just messy anymore. It was turning personal on a whole new level. A lot of folks still ain't buying the idea that Shaq would take it that far. Like, really? Dropping stacks just to dig up dirt and ruin Shannon's name? They're saying, come on, Shaq's a legend. He's got endorsements, businesses, an entire empire. Why would he risk all that over some podcast smoke? But not everybody's letting it slide. There's still a loud crowd that thinks Shaq's keeping secrets behind the scenes. They're pointing fingers at the timing, how Shannon's legal issues just magically popped up right as his show was catching fire, especially after episodes with guests like Cat Williams, who wasn't just spilling tea, he was dumping the whole pot about industry corruption on Club Shay Shay. So now people are asking, was all this just jokes and ego? Or are we watching the calm before another storm? One thing's clear. This drama ain't wrapped up. The power moves, the silence, the shade, it's all out in the open now. And the internet? Oh, they're paying attention to everything. So if you've been riding through this whole roller coaster, it's time to sound off. Drop a comment below and tell us. Are you Team Shaq or Team Shannon? Do you think this was petty back and forth? Or is there something way deeper going on? Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe for the rawest, realest breakdowns they don't want you to see. Hit that bell so you never miss what's coming next. Because this story, yeah, it's far from over. See you on the next one.